Well, it finally happened. We reached and somehow surpassed 15K subscribers here on YouTube. I don't know how, I don't know why, but genuinely from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for the love and support. And now, I have a debt to pay. Something that I have promised to do for over a year now. And if I don't do it, my friends promise to do horrible, horrible things to me.
Hey, buddy. You remember that promise you made when you hit the milestone on YouTube about making the video about Fire Warrior? Yeah. You better make that goddamn motherfucking video. I'm gonna drag your ass behind a fucking Denny's or closest Waffle House. I'm gonna do things to you. I'm gonna make the Drakari fucking sick. Make Fabius Bile puke up his own bile. Okay, bud. Okay.
If you don't come out with that review soon, I'm giving your contact information to the Scientology recruitment office.
Announcer, if you don't review this game, I will throw you into Nurgle's garden and let the beasts play with you. God damn it.
Listen here, you mole. If you don't get this review done and taken care of, I'm going to tie you to a chair and we are going to spend the next untold amount of time playing Lasso Halo CE until we beat it. And I'm going to make sure that no one can save you.
Well, looky here. Looks like someone can finally put out a video on time for once. Unlike fucking Fire Warrior, god damn. It took so long for you to get the script. I thought we'd find the fucking One Piece by now. Let alone the rest of the video. Holy shit. I thought we were getting GTA 6 first. Like, god damn. Holy shit.
It's about fucking time! Oh my god, it took you this long! I'm so disappointed! You made me wait this long! Oh my god! Announcer, why? Is that good? Okay, awesome. Alright, good. Awesome. I take my money in the mail, please. Alright, cool.
So here we are. Alright. Warhammer 40K Fire Warrior, the game that has notoriously been seen as Warhammer 40K's worst game of all time. Nowadays, that title could be taken by any slop game that was made after THQ closed down and the Warhammer license got bounced around before Sega got it. But originally, this game was seen as the literal devil by many Warhammer fans. It's talked about the same way something like Sonic 06 or Balan Wonderworld is talked about. Though this time, some people have claimed that Fire Warrior wasn't that bad. I wholeheartedly disagree with those people, but let's take this one step at a time. Released in 2003 by Kuju Entertainment, Fire Warrior was meant to promote the new Tau faction that was introduced in the tabletop in 2001, and for Sony to have a first-person shooter on their PS2 console to compete with Xbox and PC shooters like Half-Life and Halo. Fire Warrior was released on both PS2 and PC, with promotions being all over the fucking place, honestly. For PS2, the marketing was trying to frame the game as the Halo Killer, which was something tons of games were saying back in 2002 and 2003. But for Tau players, a scenario for the tabletop game was released in White Dwarf with a recreation of one of the game's levels and a way to bring the main character of Fire Warrior into the tabletop game, stats and all. These marketing strategies weren't enough to save Fire Warrior from its fate, however, as the game sold pretty poorly and reviews were middling, citing gameplay being too basic or old-fashioned, some technical problems, the sound effects being bare bones, and there being little to no music. These problems were even worse on the PC version, as tons of audio issues plagued the game. Over the years, trying to get classic copies of Fire Warrior to work on modern PC systems has been as successful as infiltrating Nurgle's home to save the healing goddess Isha. The problem was that for the longest time, we didn't have any information on Fire Warrior's development. We didn't know if its development was smooth, troubled, or if Kuju Entertainment didn't give a shit. And that's basically just because no one has really talked about this game. Even the December 2003 White Dwarf issue has nothing on it, aside from the scenario that came in it. And I thought I would be joining those people in just speculating on what had happened. Until I found a break. One of the game's designers, Terry Greer, revealed what he contributed to the game, and what his perspective of the game was during development. Not just that, but he released the design documents for level designs, audio direction, and more. Terry says he worked for Kuju for a year on his 6-month rolling contract, and he was assigned to Fire Warrior's development as a level designer. And that's when we see problems begin to arise, as he revealed that the game didn't have a lead level designer, which is massive, as not having a leader for design can make shit very problematic very quickly. From there, in the last few months of development, and with an already tight budget, Kuju Entertainment hit some hard times and had to stop hiring outside contractors. And Terry was one of the people that got cut before being brought back onto the wire to finish some things up. To his shock, most of what he worked on was still in the game, when he had expected a lot of changes. So this new information definitely helps put the game's development into perspective and explain why the game is so broken. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Fire Warrior is bad. Like, damn bad. I ain't gonna say it's the worst of the worst, because unlike some of the slop that came out later, there clearly was effort put into this game. It was just on a strict budget and time crunch. However, we review games with as much context as we can get, because nothing exists in a vacuum. And if a company releases a broken game, I don't care what excuses they come up with, they released a broken game. And Fire Warrior had serious problems even before we tried running it on modern systems. My footage of this game from both my live streams and my private recording sessions was the GOG version, as that is the most accessible version currently available. The GOG version has several fan-made mods that fix the game's aspect ratio, some sound problems, and fixes the game's launcher, which lets us, play the game, which is great. However, this makes it not the original experience of the game, and I am aware of that. So I am trying to be fair to this game and judge it based on the time it was released. But if there has to be mods to make the game's sound and gameplay elements tolerable, that's not a point in the game's favor, in my opinion. So let's cut the bullshit and review Warhammer 40K Fire Warrior before everyone kills me. So, this is the menu. It lets us choose between single player, multiplayer, and options. Not many options. You can change the game audio to either mono or stereo, which is cool. I can choose to listen to nothing in one ear, or both. The game does have a training mode, and oh god, what the hell is this? Now, describing how a game feels is always rough, but everything feels loose and slippery when trying to look around, and movement feels slippery when trying to jump or walk across gaps or narrow ledges. Then there are the guns, and oh my god, these do not feel good. The game has an auto-aim feature, which is fine. Even Halo and Half-Life had some auto-aim features to help players snap to targets when the reticle is relatively close to it. It's just a shame the gun spread makes the auto-aim completely useless, as your shots go all over the place. These are Tau guns. They are known for their accuracy, and just seeing the basic pulse rifle fire like it's drunk is infuriating. Then, the added problems of grenades really only working when they directly hit a target, or if they feel like it, it leads to a lot of frustration. If the training mode doesn't crash on me, I don't want to test it. Polite grenades.
I mean, there's one way to test that.
Why is my scroll wheel... My scroll wheel was in control of my chat, not the game. Oh. The game crashed.
Wow, under 15 minutes.
Under 15 minutes. Okay.
Well then.
Now the heads-up display is standard for the time. Not gonna knock it. It shows you health, ammo, and shields, which is odd, as Fire Warriors don't have shield generators, but it's clearly just a gameplay mechanic, so I'm fine with it. With that, we also see that in order to heal, we need to pick up health packs that are red and green. Again, standard for the time, since regenerating health wasn't common in most shooters yet. But what I am going to ding this game for is the keycard system. Keycards were used to help progression back in the days of the original Doom. But by the time of Fire Warrior's release, even Doom had abandoned the mechanic for the development of Doom 3. It gets stupidly annoying trying to find these things, because 9 times out of 10, they're held by enemies, which I will get to soon. But another major problem is just how eerily quiet it is. Hope you like the sounds of empty spaces and hallways, because that's all you'll be hearing when nothing's going on. So with these few problems to start with, let's just get into the game itself. We find ourselves on the planet of Kanesh, where we witness a group of Space Marines from the infamous Raptors chapter kidnap a Tau Ethereal. They run off with the poor guy back to the planet of Dolamar 4 under the orders of Planetary Governor Severus. Now, I know the story nerds like me are going to have a headache, but this game was released during the transition from Warhammer 3rd to 4th edition, meaning that a lot of things that the Tau and the Imperium are known for nowadays weren't the norm during this game's writing. So the Tau, the Space Marines, and the Imperium in general are gonna come off as weird to those who are used to modern 40k. The capture of the Ethereal forces the Tau to respond, sending a military force to Dolamar 4 to take back the spiritual leader. Here we will be playing as Kais. For Dawn of War fans, this was originally intended to be the same one from Dark Crusade. However, that was later changed so the two aren't related. But now we're being deployed to our first mission, and I wish I could hear what is being said to me.
Trooper, is this your first mission? I remember how nervous I was before mine. Let me help you get ready.
What? Now being concerned that Kais may be deaf, our dropship hits the ground and we deploy into the first mission, with us finally engaging in the combat of the game, and immediately the problems hit me like a crude rampager to the face. The Tau weaponry feels weak, taking quite a few shots to bring down even the most basic guardsmen in front of us. Then, in order to pick up another gun, we have to use Tab to both switch guns on the fly and to swap for another gun. But you aren't allowed to have just any gun you want. You have to have at least one Tau gun, meaning that even if you find some guns you enjoy, you're stuck carrying ones you probably won't like at all. Even worse, Imperial firearms are much better than Tau firearms. I don't know why, but the last gun, the gun that requires tons of concentrated shots to bring down single targets in the tabletop game, is far better than the Tau's pulse rifle. A gun that is superior to the last gun in every way. However, it's fucking opposite day, I guess, because the last gun is clearly better in this game. Cool. Wonderful. On top of that, it feels like there's no weight or reaction to firing at enemies. It's a small thing, but even Halo and Half-Life had flinch mechanics for their games. You know, you hit someone and they flinch, they react to your shots and such. However, here it feels like I'm just firing at bullet sponges, who only react to things when they die, and they have to give the performance of a lifetime when they die. And note, they won't drop whatever they're holding until the long-ass death animation is done, and that includes objective items, meaning that my first time playing through this, I didn't see anyone drop their keycards, so I got stuck and lost for a bit because of that.
Wait.
And the worst part is that the PC port for for Republic Commando, at least had passion and love put into it. At least it was still playable. And Republic Commando is just a good game in general, but...
Also, like, it actually made the conscious choice of, hey, we know this game isn't going to be very good when it comes to, like, the FPS portions.
That's the fucking key.
Yes.
Also, in order to push buttons, you gotta get so close that you're practically rubbing your face all over it, which makes it feel even more janky. But by fighting through the trenches, we're able to push into mission 2. And when you complete a mission, it has the audacity to score your ass, ranking you for time, kills, shots fired, and it even scores you on accuracy. Are you fucking kidding me? The gun spread leaves the goddamn reticle when I'm firing single shots! Also, an additional task. What additional task? The game never hinted or showed anything that was an additional task. So what the hell is this? Well, thanks to that dev I mentioned earlier, I finally figured out what the hell these secret tasks were. In the design documents, it makes mention of a courier. You wouldn't know that by playing the game, because the audio that is supposed to tell you about him is bugged, meaning that unless you're fast enough to find and kill this guy, who looks the same as everyone else, you aren't getting the secret task for this mission. And it won't be the last one you miss, due to this game's shoddy state. Mission 2 isn't anything to write home about. We're ordered to make it to the next extraction site, as for some reason we're getting our asses kicked. Here we get some NPC buddies that tag along, but I completely ignored them, as they tend to just absent-mindedly walk into enemy fire or melee. Oh, speaking of melee... Ah yes, the ancient art of flailing wildly! We also get the Imperial autogun here, and yes, I know it looks like a modern-day rifle, but that's basically what an autogun is anyways, especially in 3rd and 4th edition 40k. The main standout of this mission is the Valkyrie boss fight. A lot of people get stuck here and either wait for the enemy's programming to fail and let it kill itself, or just pray that they hit this thing's janky hitbox. The real answer to beating this boss is simple. Go hide behind the pipe beside it, and just toss grenades at it till it's dead. Then you get a head pat from your superior, who sends you off on your next mission. Yay me! Oh, the secret objective here is that you had to use mounted machine guns to kill, like, 4 people. Cool. Mission 3 lands us in a completely different area, with more trenches, and the same kind of obstacles. But with the added objective of breaking into the prison complex that the Ethereal is being held in. And we have to blow our way into the complex, and oh god! This game has sniper rifles. And they are ass! Snipers ignore shields and do straight health damage, which is awful for you, because snipers are quick-scoping little shits in most instances. And when you try to use a sniper rifle, it's even worse, because the guns have crappy accuracy already, and the scope is completely useless, since there's no defined center point of the scope. You're better off finding another way to kill snipers. Don't use melee, though. That's the only accurate thing about this game. Tau sucks in melee.
Write that down, write that down!
We're also introduced to stealth sections here, with cameras that can't be destroyed, and if you're caught, an annoying alarm blares, and enemies come out of the woodwork to kill you. Now, the cameras are ill-defined as well. They have laser pointers to show line of sight, but that doesn't explain shit when the laser just looks like it gets cut off. Basically, the only way I figure out how to get past this is just zigzag from camera to camera when each pair of cameras rotate to look in the opposite directions, which lets us get into the facility where we have to blow up security consoles to access the actual prison, which we do after I get lost for a hot minute. Also kill 6 snipers with a sniper for the secret mission. Go fuck yourself. Mission 4 is in the prison, a dreary place where we find some of our fellow fire warriors either being held prisoner or being interrogated. As well, the game tries to treat this as an infiltration, as if you don't clear out a room fast enough, a guard can hit the alarm and... Oh my god, the sounds and noise in this game are giving me a headache. I'm not kidding. The amount of noise overload, especially when wearing headphones, is genuinely head-spinning. You have to listen to the guards' overlapping dialogue, the alarms blaring at rapid paces, and gunfire and chain sword noises. Then the contrast is just dead quiet with sound effects that make it feel like I'm reloading my gun with chip bags, and sometimes it tracks my footsteps, and other times it doesn't. Also, I would like to ask the devs, how do you fucking climb ladders? Because it turns out that I've apparently been climbing ladders wrong. Sure, yeah, you face the ladder and climb to go up, but to go down, turn away from the ladder and hold forward. I am getting so annoyed with this game, and this is only mission 4.
God, it's Bounty Hunter all over again.
It's just Bounty Hunter all over
God.
again. Wait, how do I... What?
It really is Bounty Hunter all over again.
I promised this fucking chat. I promised all of you.
What would you like to promise us?
No!
You just look forward and walk.
Get it together, big man! You got 20 more levels of this shit, I think. Pushing past that, we get deeper into the prison, and the secret task here was to free, or at least talk to 8 other Tau prisoners. Which, I didn't find them. Mission 5 has us go deeper inside the prison, and here we get access to the shotgun, and oh my god! The bolter. These 2 guns hit damn hard, but the bolter is going to be your best friend. Hits hard, drops people in 1 to 2 shots, should be breaking my arms by firing it, but you know what? I could give less than 2 shits, because this is the only gun that feels decent, aside from the shotgun, which also does good damage. And after receiving this special gift, we finally find the Ethereal, who is having something done to him by the planetary governor, and we have to contend with a Space Marine to get to him. With the help of the bolter, we drop the power armored freak in several shots, save the Ethereal, and extract. Also, the secret mission is grabbing a piece of bread in the cave system. For some reason. Mission 6 starts us off with a cutscene, where an Imperial ship latches onto the Tau ship and begins sending in boarding parties. Oh cool! We actually get to see the inside of a Tau ship, and I'm not really disappointed with what I see. In fact, I'm going to give this game credit here. For the time that it was made, Fire Warrior doesn't look too bad. It does get the look and designs of 40K down pretty well for the additions that were out at the time. I can tell what the guns are, the units look accurate to their models back in the day, and the set pieces, although a little dull and boring color-wise, do match up with the art and designs from these editions. I'm not gonna knock the game for that at least. And with the cutscenes, after watching Noodle's video breaking down aspect ratios, I'm not gonna hit the cutscenes either, because they weren't meant to be watched on modern day monitors. So, of course, they're gonna look grainy and stretched to hell, even with mods to help fix them. But, getting into the mission proper, we're ordered to clear the ship of boarders, and we get promoted. So, we're given the Taos Pulse Carbine, and it's just a faster shooting pulse rifle with a grenade launcher. Hey, at least it makes grenades easier to use and more accurate. We are also put up against Imperial Stormtroopers here. These guys would be later changed to the Tempestus Scions in the overall 40K universe, but I didn't notice any major changes to their design. They're just regular guardsmen with a different design and can have plasma weapons. Also, this is where I started dying a lot. And dying in this game fucking sucks! The checkpoints can be extremely brutal, either spawning you several objectives back, or into the same room you died in. Meaning, if you brought some crappy weapons into a boss fight, good luck, champ, because the game just told you to get fucked. Here, I died doing the main objective because I got lost. The main objective of this mission is to destroy one of the boarding ships attached to the Tau ship. We got that done, and the secret task here was to kill 4 Imperials in the kitchen. I don't know why that's important, but whatever. Mission 7 has us being redeployed to stop the Imperials from sabotaging our ship's power generator. The door to the generator was locked down by the enemy tech priests who boarded us, leading us on a wild goose chase throughout this section of the ship to find keycards to unlock the door. We also have to contend with the tech priests now, who are just guys with shields, who also come equipped with plasma guns, and those really hurt to get hit by. Just lob some grenades to kill them quickly, or make sure to pack a bolt or a plasma gun of your own. It's also becoming apparent that there's something else working through the Imperials' ranks, as a squad of stormtroopers get killed, and we didn't have anything to do with it. We eventually get the keys, kill the tech priest in the generator room, and move on to the next mission. The secret task here was to save a Tau pilot in the medical wing. Mission 8 has us rushing to the bridge to secure it and protect the ship's captain. So it's just a simple hop, skip, and jump to the bridge, fighting our way through some boarding parties on our way. Once we get to the bridge, the game drops several Space Marines on us when I go to take a leak in the captain's bathroom. Once we kill the Marines, we're quickly ordered to do a counter-boarding operation. Not a lot to say here. The mission is short, and aside from dropping some Space Marines on us, it wasn't that hard. The secret task here is to find some pilots. Again. Mission 9 is us boarding the Imperial vessel. Shit goes awry immediately, and we have to disable the ship's outer guns so more of our boarding parties can land. Again, a pretty simple and straightforward mission. Blow up the guns, fight Imperials, kill some Marines, grab their shit, because the bolt gun is just better than everything else. And get inside the ship to start causing more problems. The secret task here is to destroy some barrels near some stairs? What the fuck, dude? Starting mission 10, we enter the Imperial warship and are tasked to find the Imperial power generators and blow them up. This level can be annoying due to us having to stealth certain areas, and you know how stealth is a bunch of bullshit anyway, because the enemy just spots you when it feels like it. Now, throw the tough Space Marines into the mix, and trying not to be spotted in stealth sections turns into a recipe for being shot at with bolter rounds. Also, this is where the gun spread really got annoying. The AI can hit me from any range it wants, but I have to pray that my shots hit home from long distances. Once we blow up the generators, we move on to the next mission. The secret task here is to not trip any alarms in this mission. I am losing my fucking patience. Mission 11 is... Okay, seriously? This is getting annoying. Every mission has been basically the same objective. Get in, find keys, blow something up, reach extraction. Get in, find keys, blow something up, reach extraction. Get in, find keys, blow something up, reach extraction. Repeat ad nauseum. And it doesn't get much better than this. And this sort of gameplay is usually fine, but with the janky-ass controls, the fuck shooting mechanics, and the fact that this mission demands you use a sniper rifle for outside sections of the ship, or you'll get sniped from enemies in far towers, and remember, snipers ignore shields in this whack-ass game! I'm running out of things to talk about, because you can only hammer in the point that a game is not fun to play so many times. So, we get to the bridge, and our character is knocked out after everyone is told to stand down by a newcomer, the Ultramarines captain, Genus Ardius. Then we get into a cutscene of the Imperial Admiral talking with said captain. Now, the voice acting in this game hasn't been great, to say the least, and the Tau voices would give the Trade Federation characters from the Phantom Menace pause.
My lord, we must tread carefully. These humans wish to eradicate our race. Why do we trust them to keep their word over a truce?
I do not trust humanity, Lucia. I trust this space marine, this Captain Ardius. Like the Tau, he acts for the greater good as he sees it.
But somehow they got British voice actors like Tom Baker, Brian Blessed, and Peter... I'm not going to say that name because I'm going to fuck it up. They at least put in a decent performance. Though Captain Ardius keeps talking in a low, raspy voice like he smoked 500 cigarettes. Also, Captain Ardius was the captain of the Ultramarines' 3rd Company, meaning that this game takes place before his death in M41-751, ironically to the Tau Empire. Ardias has come to end the fighting between the Tau and the Imperium as more pressing matters have arisen, basically hinting that the forces of chaos are at work here. So it's better to end the fighting now so that the Imperial forces can focus on the more dangerous threat. The Tau Ethereal we saved earlier agrees to meet, as for some reason he trusts Ardias. In exchange for the meeting, and to show his good faith in wanting a truce, Ardias is willing to hand Kais back to the Tau, and even lets us sit on the peace negotiations. Though the governor of the planet Severus, the dickhead who started all this, comes aboard the ship and makes it very clear he isn't happy about the peace negotiations, and show how unhappy he is by summoning Chaos Space Marines of the Wordbearers Legion aboard the ship. Oh, fuck.
What a twist!
Yep, even Fire Warrior pulls the "it was chaos all along" twist. And if you think this is where things get fun, I want you to take that hope, hand it over to your local commissar, and probably watch it get shot. Because if you thought the game was unfair before, it's practically fucking cheating here. The forces of chaos can spawn anywhere without warning. They can block doorways with warp energies that will kill you if you try to cross them too early. And remember, bolters take chunks out of your shields and health. And Chaos Space Marine bolters have a better fire rate than regular bolters. So, oh boy, pain! Even more infuriating is that even if you kill a Chaos Marine, they can just pretend to be dead. Meaning that if you aren't paying attention, a Chaos Marine with a rocket launcher can get back up and snipe you from behind. Because that's fair, right? Luckily, this is where your auto-aim can come in handy. You can tell when a Chaos Marine is actually dead by hovering your crosshair over them. If the reticle doesn't lock onto them, they're dead. Finally, a use for this damn thing. Now, the problem is that Chaos is taking over the ship, and has captured our Ethereal. Dude, you're almost as bad as Princess Peach. Ardias orders us to stop the forces of Chaos from firing on our crippled Tau cruiser, then to get off the ship before the forces of Chaos blow it up. So we blow up the ship's main guns while fighting Chaos ambushes in tight confined spaces. We get to meet a Chaos Sorcerer, who also ignores shields with his attacks, but works the same way as a Tech Priest. So we just hit his shield till it implodes. Then we are sent down to the launch bay. And yes, I stopped giving a shit about the secret tasks. If the game isn't going to bother to tell me what the fuck they are, I ain't going to worry about it anymore. Plus, I'm too busy trying not to die and get sent back to the start of the mission. Because again, these checkpoints are super unforgiving, and the game is expecting me to platform with these slippery ass controls. So yeah, I just want to get through this. Wait, is that a Chaos Dreadnought? Yeah, a Dreadnought as a boss fight. The arena does have rocket launchers around, but it's better to just use grenades since it's faster. Also, when the Dreadnought dies, it just gives the best scream. Once the Dreadnought is killed, we quickly get into an Ultramarine drop pod and launch back down to the planet, right before the ship gets blown up, leading us into the final 5 missions of the game. Landing back on the planet, we regroup with the Tau and Ultramarine forces to push back the forces of Chaos. We did get a new gun in the previous missions, the Tau Burst Cannon, which is basically a minigun, but it sucks. The Chaos Bolter is much better weapon to be carrying around until in the first mission back on the planet, when we get the fabled Rail Rifle. You know, the gun that is meant to punch holes in tanks. Well, we get that as our standard Tau weapon now, and it one-shots most Chaos Infantry, which I will happily take, thank you. We also get to face down Chaos Raptors and Obliterators, and yes, they are just as broken and annoying as the rest of them. Even more so for the Chaos Raptors, because for some ungodly reason, they gave these fear-loving freaks this sound clip when they attack. You hate that? Did it annoy you? Good, because that's what you have to put up with for the last 2 hours of this game, and it was at this point in the stream where I became really demoralized and bored. Once we fight through the landing zone, we're retasked by Ardius to take out an Imperial Titan that the forces of Chaos are trying to hijack. You know, the big war machines that 40K made into one of the most expensive and powerful models? Yeah, just take some C4, slap it on its Titan dick and thighs, and blow it up. It was always that easy, don't you know? Oh, even funnier, there's another boss fight here. Against a Demon Prince. The guys who are so powerful that they just rank just under the Greater Demons of Chaos. Would you like to know and see how that went? I want to say I'm disappointed, but that would imply that I had any expectations at all at this point. Fuck it. We blow up the Titan and Ardius grabs us and takes us to the final area of the game, the Chaos Temple. Now, giving credit where credit is due, this place does feel like it's being taken over by the Warp. Genuinely, it reminded me a lot of Doom's Hell levels from the OG Doom in Doom 3. And in Doom 3, those were some of the best levels of that mediocre game. But no, even this place is a slog to get through, even when it's the final 3 missions of the game. It's more of the same thing. Tight corridors, chaos ambushing you, long periods of waiting for warp energy to dissipate enough to walk through the doors, more chaos raptors screaming at me, and a fucking rematch with the Demon Prince? Fuck your mother! We just did this! Then the game expects you to defy all logic by jumping into a chaos portal. How was I supposed to know that I had to do that without a guide? The game never told me this was an okay portal to jump through. Any other portal is fucking death. But nope, now the game expects me to jump through portals like it's nothing. And remember, death sends you back quite a long fucking way. Hope you like guessing games. Then we come to amounts to a boss rush? We're forced to fight several waves of enemies, then a couple of sorcerers, then another dreadnought, who clipped through the floor and didn't die, meaning I had to kill myself to reset the checkpoint and do the boss fight over again. Only the dreadnought to spawn in again, but it spawned to the arena already dying. I want to say the game fucked up its script for the millionth time, but I think at this point, the game is just begging me to kill it. We do, however, run to the Imperial Admiral from earlier down here. Guess he got kidnapped during the raid on the ship as well? And he tells us that Severus is trying to become immortal. Oh dude, don't worry, I just beat the shit out of 2 demon princes. Actually, Severus is trying to summon a greater demon to the material plane, and the Admiral asks us to stop the ritual before it happens. After giving us the task we were already going to do, the guy turns into a chaos spawn, which, okay, you didn't need to be dramatic about it, buddy. Let's just get this over with. This leads us to our final mission, where we are tasked with destroying the 4 Shrines of Chaos. You know the drill. Kill everything, plant charge. Kill everything, plant charge. Repeat 4 times, and eventually Severus will come out with the ethereal and tell us his entire evil plan. That he wanted to use the ethereal as a sacrifice to chaos, but since Tau canonically have little to no presence in the warp, that plan went tits up. So he used the conflict to lure in Ardius and his Ultramarines to cause more slaughter, and eventually tried to capture the Ultramarines captain and sacrifice him instead. This plan is dumb, and Severus forgot that by killing my ethereal, by 4th edition rules, I get preferred enemy, meaning that I'm gonna hand this idiot his ass with a plasma gun. But the game ain't over yet. Severus, like the kid in the sandbox that everyone hates, reveals that he wanted me to kill him because his death lets a Lord of Change through. You know, the demons that fuck with reality by simply standing there, whose magic makes most isekai mages blush? Yeah, we have to kill that. This final boss is annoying, as it has an undefined hitbox for both taking and giving damage, and it has an attack that ignores shields and drains your health, even when not touching you. And if you die, it spawns you back at the Severus fight again. I just pulled up the railgun and hoped for the best, and I got lucky and killed the thing in about the amount of time it takes to make a sandwich. The game ends with us escaping the planet, the Ultramarines nuking the world, and the Tau just leave. And you probably have a million questions like, what happened to the Raptors chapter? Did Kais get promoted to Shazo? The real question is, do you honestly fucking care? Because the game didn't. It just slaps us onto the Tau ship, we exit the system, and the game is over. So, after all that, is Fire Warrior the worst 40k game I have ever played? Is it truly our Sonic 06 moment within the Warhammer community? Well, no. For one, this game was released back during the time that Warhammer was still niche and small compared to the juggernaut it is today. Second, although it isn't fun to play, it's still playable and there are things to admire in it. Again, the art direction and designs of the weapons do look like their tabletop counterparts did back in the day. But don't get me wrong though, this game is bad. From the AI being either brain dead or straight up cheating, to the sound effects being horribly implemented, to the gameplay being extremely frustrating, to the guns not feeling good to use or just plainly missing their targets with horrible spreads, to the nonsensical plot that feels like shit is just happening to get us from point A to point B, to the game not communicating what it wants me to do half the time. Yeah, no, this game is bad. And anyone who says that it isn't are either lying to themselves or genuinely just like playing bad games. Which, if they are the latter, more power to them, but I don't like playing games that frustrate me or bore me to tears. Now again, I did want to figure out why Fire Warrior was the way it was, and I'm very happy that I did. I got to understand why and how the game was released this way. Even if I don't have all the details, it's still good to have context as to why a game would ship like this, because it helps me try to empathize with the developers, or at least give me context. In this case, Kuju Entertainment had a short deadline, a low budget, and an additional financial problems that hampered the game. And reading through the game's design logs, I know these developers were passionate about the project. You don't hire the 4th Doctor from Doctor Who if you aren't passionate about your project. But passion alone does not make a good game. Fire Warrior is bad, even keeping in mind the time it was released. But at least I could say that it was brighter skies from here on for Kuju Entertainment. Yeah, in a rare case, Kuju Entertainment is still around today, even after Fire Warrior's failure. They went on to make games like Battalion Wars, House of the Dead Overkill, Silent Hill Downpour, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and Pokemon Art Academy, which is honestly a happier story than how most other developers tend to fare when their games crash and burn. Even now, 40K is in a much better place, with tons of new games like Darktide, Space Marine 2, and Rogue Trader being great and fun experiences for veterans and newcomers alike to get into Warhammer. For games still being developed right now, there's a new Dawn of War game coming out, The RPG system Dark Heresy is getting its own game, and Space Marine 3 is confirmed to be in the works. Now, I am going to say this. I think we should do Fire Warrior again. Either remake the original game from the ground up, or make a new game where we play as a Fire Warrior in modern 40K. I say this because we get so much Imperial stuff, with the last non-Imperial 40K game being Speed Freaks in 2023. It would be awesome to see a game where we get a different perspective of the 40K universe that is a linear first-person shooter, or at least gives us something like Battlefield, where it's Tau versus Guard or something like that. It would be fun to see. But thank God I am done with this. This review and the game in general took a lot out of me, and I hope it met your expectations. Thank you so much for helping me break 15K subs on YouTube. And as of this script's writing, we are close to reaching 30K, meaning that if we break that, I'll have to honor another deal. But until then, the next time we come back, we'll be catching up with the now Captain Titus and seeing what he and the Ultramarines are up to, while also learning about a new enemy that shows Necrons still have the murderous automatons we originally knew them as, when we go over the 500 Worlds campaign. So if you want to watch that early, join the Patreon, or subscribe, like, and share the video, and hit that bell icon for notifications. Your support helps keep the lights on, food on the table, and lets me torture myself for your entertainment. But until then, I'll see you all next time. I can give it that much. You're fucking kidding me. I start paying you a fucking compliment and then you give me the blue screen of death, you piece of shit.